And now Walter Jahncke is here with us in the kitchen, and we are going to cook with blueberries. What are we going to make?
Today we're going to make blueberry crisp.
Blueberry crisp.
Yeah, that's not a familiar item to most folks, but I believe everyone I've run into in Iowa knows what an apple crisp is. I grew up in Louisiana, never had apple crisp. We know about apple pie, but not apple crisp. So in getting a dish for blueberries, blueberry crisp, it seemed like a good dish to try.
All right.
So we have the traditional ingredients for apple crisp, minus the apples, and then we're gonna add a few special ingredients you wouldn't normally see in apple crisp. So here's our apples, no, blueberries, right? And I'm dumping them right into an already buttered pan. That will save the dishwasher a little work. A little cinnamon sugar.
Cinnamon and blueberries, doesn't it?
You would be surprised. Now don't just go with cinnamon, it's a little strong.
Okay.
Now here's where the surprises start.
And that's not a lot.
It's not a lot, and we're gonna kind of toss these together. This is the lemon zest, which is just the outer rind of a lemon. You can grate and get a little zest. About 2 teaspoons is enough. I'm just gonna try it with my fingers there. This is orange zest, another surprise. Now, if you're watching me do this and think, no, I just want my blueberries, don't put this in. It'll be delicious with just the cinnamon. This is thyme. Now we're getting even a little more off-road for the adventurous diner. And you might be thinking, I don't want thyme with my blueberries, but really the flavors mix nicely together.
But why would I want thyme with my blueberries?
Because you're not just a cook. You're not just on the road. You're going off-road cooking here with, it's a culinary art. You want to experiment and learn about how foods can go together, and this is a magnificent pairing.
All right, and so then you're just going to mix it up?
Now we're just going to mix it up, toss it together, whatever way you can find. If you'd rather do this in a separate dish, you can. I'm just going to do it in here because I don't like doing dishes. All right?
Fair enough.
So all the flavors are there. If you want to get it even more intense, you can put those herbs in a little butter on the stove and simmer them lightly before you add it.
All right, let's move that out of the way, and we want to work on the topping.
Yes, here's the topping. Now for the topping, we've got butter, sugar, and oats. But we're going to do, this is brown sugar and white sugar first.
A little bit of flour too.
And equal parts works well. I've got a little bit of a change from the equal part rule. I've got about a cup of sugar there total, but only about half a cup of flour. When I tried a full cup, I thought it was a little dry. Okay. But that's an opinion you can kind of go with to your own taste.
And so then that's a cup of butter?
We'll call it a cup of butter. Sure, yeah, it's 2 sticks of butter. A stick and a half to 2 sticks is probably about right. And you'll see the oats sitting all over here all by themselves. Yeah. They go in after this. They make it a little hard to chop the butter in. Okay. So we're just gonna work this. This is called a pastry cutter. It's not sharp, it won't cut you. It's just dull enough to cut through the butter.
All right, you just mix that pretty thoroughly till it's nice and lumpy.
Right, if your butter is too soft, you'll kind of just have a mess here. So if you start with cold butter and just work it like this until you get it nice and chunky.
Kind of like a pie crust.
Like a pie crust. And we'll try it about like that. Get this off of the cutter.
And those oats are old-fashioned oats?
Right.
Nice and chewy?
Yes, I prefer the old-fashioned oats to the what you call 5-minute oats or quick oats. They're thinner. They're all rolled oats. We're not working with the whole grain here, but it's rolled oats, and I like the thicker ones because it gives it nice texture when I go to eat it later. All right. But if all you've got around the house is 5-minute oats, you'll be fine. And if you put them in with your cutter, you'll just have smaller pieces of oats.
All right, let me hold this up so you can scrape it in.
Okay. There you go. And then what we'll do after we get it all in here is spread it out so that, there you go. Cover the whole thing all the way to the corners. Don't leave anybody out. Really, around my house, the reason for this is the topping. And
you want every piece to have topping.
You could easily double my topping, but I didn't want to scare anybody away with 3 sticks of butter in the dessert. So we've kind of halved it here, so it's a little shallow. But if more topping is better, just increase the ingredients and you're fine.
And we're ready to go in the oven.
We're ready to roll.
Terrific.
So we're going to bake it. And about 350 degrees is what I usually set for. And 45 minutes is about enough time. It's already baked and ready to come out. And when it's done, you have a nice crumbly topping.
All right, that looks wonderful. And you'd let it set up for a little while so it's not too runny?
Good luck. If you've got hot blueberries in the kitchen, you may not get to really let it set up for very long.
Somebody's going to eat it.
Right. So, the portion size can be whatever your family can handle. I have 7 in my family. Everybody's going to have to hold back to feed everybody. But every family's different on that. So, you see our nice blueberries on the bottom.
Nice.
And if you want to show more blueberry when you serve it, you can just kind of scoop it that way. And oh, it smells delicious.
It does.
Okay, we're going to have to try this today.
Yeah. And you could probably pair that with a little ice cream.
I think so. Whipped cream, ice cream, something else with lots of sugar and cream in it. I don't
A little butter.
Don't eat this all the time. This is a special, it's a dessert.
All right.
And that is probably a larger topping, larger size dessert maybe then. So.
Well, it looks wonderful. And it smells wonderful. What are we going to make now?
Well, now we've got a quick dish. If you need to impress your friends in a hurry, it's called Blueberries Foster, like a bananas Foster.
All right.
We're going to add butter to a hot skillet and some brown sugar.
All
if you want to empty that into there.
Sure.
And we want that to turn into a nice syrupy mass. So we're just going to stir that
for a little while.
Work the butter in there. All right, now we've got the butter melted, and you see how we've got a nice foamy mass. We're going to give it a little more heat now. What you don't want is burned sugar. And now we're going to add the blueberries. Now, we want the blueberries to, see how they're kind of turning from that powdery color to darker? That's good. I'm going to give it plenty of heat now, because the last thing we're going to add is a berry liqueur. This is a black raspberry liqueur. And if you want me to take over so you don't
I'll back up.
We're going to add the liqueur, and what it's going to want to do is catch fire. So, get a little heat going and some flames. And we like to keep that simmering until all the alcohol is burned off. Then we can turn our fire off. And you have the luxury of stirring this and setting it aside and serving it to your friends later, or taking it right over here. You want to
and serving it right away.
Over the ice cream, yep.
All right. How much? Lots and lots.
As much as you like.
Lots and lots.
As much as you can fit.
All right, that looks great. And let's try.
Let's give it a try. Okay. You can go first. It's okay?
That is fabulous.
That's good. You have to do this again.
Absolutely. Chef Walter, thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.